stated about a member who talked about they didn't like the term treetop level for the flare because of their trees aren't that high, or they're too short, or they didn't have trees or something to that.
Yeah, trees were a lot higher, and he's probably, I think he was, if I remember right, he's in California. I could understand that where he's at, the trees might be much taller than what we have here in Indiana. The thing that comes to my mind is, one POH says flare at 50 feet, one POH says flare at 100 feet, one POH may say flare at 75 feet. Number one, you got to go with the aircraft you're flying. What's the POH say?
Correct.
Can you differentiate 60 between 50?
Well, that is my thing, if you want my 2 cents here.
Go ahead. Jump right in.
Obviously, we all know, or everybody knows, that you were my primary instructors. Instructors learn from other instructors. So, you know, you taught me treetop level. So that's how I continue to teach my students. And I'll tell you why I like treetop level. The POH for the G2 says flare at 60 feet. Okay?
Good example.
If you're a brand new student learning how to do an auto rotation, I want your eyes outside. If you tell them flare at 60 feet, what are they going to do? Their head's going to go right down to the altimeter gauge, and they're going to stare at it until it says 60 feet, and then by that time we already just plummeted right into the ground. I use treetop level. It's a visual reference inside the helicopter, and usually there's trees around the airport most of the time. So you can look, I mean, like Goshen's a good example. I can look right down 27, and I can see a tree line all the way at the very end. So I'm just looking outside. When I see that, when I get level with the treetop, I start my flare. Now, one thing that I teach, I start off with a mini flare. Treetop level, I'm not telling you to yank back on that cyclic and really get that nose up.
Exactly.
I'm telling you at treetop level, start a mini flare to start decreasing that speed. And then I teach that flare gets more aggressive. The way I teach it, once you really get into that aggressive flare, you're at your 60 feet or your 50 feet or whatever that is. And guess what? If your flare a little too high, I teach, hold off. As you start to push forward, let the aircraft start to settle a little bit, then come up on your collect. I like the treetop level because it keeps the students' eyes outside. Hey, real quick, point to 880 on that altimeter, please.
Exactly. Who is that good that you can look down and go 57 feet by flaring?
Right.
R22, R44, Bell 47, Enstrom, PK117, EC135, Jet Ranger. I don't care. Across the board, everything I've ever flown, I use treetop level.
Yeah.
You've got time to change that flare, like Chris said. Start small, make it bigger, make it bigger. Yep. And depending on your situation, you can make that pull gradual, or you could make it more aggressive. Right. Using treetop level, you can still adjust as needed going into the amount of flare that you need to make the auto rotation successful.
But it's good. I think we beat that good because I want people to understand why I do it. As you learn, as you know, as an instructor, if your students don't understand why they're doing it, a lot of times they're not going to learn. If you just tell them, you know, like now...